everyone. Double checking my microphone is on. Can you guys hear me okay? How's everyone doing? It's been a long time. I know that time zones have changed for a lot of people, so I'm not sure if um, people are gonna come to this because, again, we don't know what time it is in the rest of the world, or at least I don't. If anyone has anything that they'd like me to look at and give feedback on, feel free to post it. If not, I thought maybe we could just play around with the rig that we're doing at Wonderworld, do some facial poses, just like have some fun, like take it like super chill. Cause yeah, it's been a long time. So, but if anyone wants me to look at anything, feel free. I might also go over some like basics of facial posing and appeal, because that's one of my favorite topics. So if anyone has questions on that, also feel free to post it. Also post it in the chat, not on Discord, because I'm not gonna be checking that out. But if nobody has any questions, then I'll just do my thing. Might just be like a very, very short stream. Be very, very short, which I don't mind because it's been a very long week and it's only Thursday. I've been having so many technical problems at work, um, that it was like today, like the peak was um, like dropped my Wacom pen and then I moved my chair and I crushed it and I'm like, no. So amazing Thursday. Don't you just love it? So we're gonna take it super chill. Let me put some of the stream music that somebody sent so that it's not super quiet. Please tell me if it gets too loud because um, I can barely hear it when I play it. Because last time everyone was like, oh no, it's too loud. Like even right now, I can't hear it. I don't even know if it's playing. Is anyone here? Can you tell me if it's playing? I don't think it's playing. Eh, not my problem. It's okay. I can just listen to the sounds of the street while I open Maya and set things up. I don't know if you guys can hear the sounds of the birds that are outside. They're so loud. If there's something that I will never get used to is how loud the birds are in Australia. Like insanely loud. Mm, okay. Yes, this open. I'm gonna share my screen even though this is not ready yet. I need to just find the textures again. Just a bit annoying. In the meantime, if anyone has questions or anything, feel free. If not, I'm just gonna randomly talk about things until I set everything up. I could have set it up earlier, but I'm gonna be super candid. I was watching a documentary that was super interesting and it's in Italian and I can understand like roughly everything, but not all of it, so I had to pay attention and it was so interesting. So I got really distracted and suddenly I'm like, oh my god, it's 7 p.m. I need to go online. So that's why I don't have things set up. It's okay. I can share and we'll just do this. This is from the um, I basically copied the file that I was using before. Maybe I can just open this one. This one might have the correct textures. Also, if there's a demo that you guys want me to do, feel free. I think there was someone who wanted a more thorough constraints demo, but because this was kind of announced very late, I didn't want to do it without that person being here, just so that I don't um, do it when they could, like, I want them to be able to ask questions. Hey, how's it going? Trying to do some facial poses. If you have any questions or anything that you want me to review, feel free. Now I'm just gonna find my picker and get on it. Oh, perfect. Do you want to send it over? Yeah, send it over Discord. Let me know when you have. Where is my picker? Is it assets? Meanwhile, I'm just trying to find where I put my picker. Maybe it's in scripts? Nope. Mm -mm. Misplaced my picker. Yeah, sounds good. Send it over when. Oh, I found it. Haha. Okay. Is this working? Nope. So just set the namespace. Does this work? Yes, perfect. Is it you were doing the animation where the character was bouncing, right? How's that been going? Because I'm pretty sure that one was you. Whoops, those are the shoulders. So the music never played. Oh, maybe I just have to go to Spotify. Might be easier. Nope, that's not it. Is it even playing? Okay, there we go. I think this is gonna make me fall asleep, but we'll run with it. What is this? Or if you guys want to choose one, feel free. Oh, this is definitely gonna make me fall asleep. Perfect. Let me just change to, I don't know, this one feels weird. I like it. Yeah. If the music is too loud, let me know. This one at least is a little bit more upbeat. Wait, this one says a dance. Are you doing a different shot? I'm intrigued. Opening a new Maya. Did you import the characters, or are you doing it with Stuart? Okay. Let me just re-download Stuart, because I think I deleted it. Oh, cool. I have to see where I have Leo. I think I have the latest. Just have way too many files. Let's just move this. No, 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 it's okay. I have it. I have it. I think I have the latest. Yeah. Because basically it all depends on Dropbox actually updating. Okay, this one should be it. How are you finding the rig? Do you like it? Whoa, that was loud. Nice. Glad to hear. Wait, I just want to know until... Okay, there you go. Is there... Yes, a shotgun. Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. Let me just play blast this really quick. I don't know where my textures are, as always. I feel like I fixed this problem so many times that I don't understand why it keeps happening. I'm kind of like done. Cool. Why is this not loading correctly? Oh my god, what's happening? Are you from India? That's really cool. I live with two guys from India. And we're all vegetarian, which is really cool. Something is happening that this doesn't want to load correctly. I think next time when you upload your reference, I would just upload like the little chunk, mainly because when it's a video that is this big and this long, it will take a very, very long time to load. So if you can just upload the little part that you're using, it's going to be easier also for me to figure out what you're following, and it will load a little bit faster. But I get the vibe. Hey, that's cool. So I'm guessing this is a good time for you guys. What time is it over there? Or are you not in India right now? Does India have more than one time zone? I have it on mute. You guys hear it? Oh, cool. Okay. I want to understand this dance first. Cool. And then as they jump, the weight transfer happens after this. Can you hear me now? I'm just mumbling to myself. Basically, I'm just trying to analyze this. Or is it the song that is too loud? If not, I can just take it out. I don't need it. Okay. Cool. Okay. Um, is this a shotgun? Yeah. Cool. I think it's off to a good start. But my sync sketch is muted, so it might be on your side. Like you like I have it on mute both here and here, so it might be that on your side, if you're watching it right now, which I see that there's two of you, if it's you, you might have your volume turned on there, so you can just mute it on your end because I can't hear anything. I don't have the audio on right now, so I don't even like I haven't even listened the music yet. Actually, I want to listen to it. Oh wait, I forgot to unmute here.
One, two,
Oh, there's
three,
no music.
four.
They're just saying things. No, that's okay. No problem. Like I know that SyncSketch is like a whole thing. Like it takes a while to get used to, especially when they change the UI. It drives me crazy when they do that. But there's like a lot of times when like I tell people like, "Oh, send me your SyncSketch," and they send it and it's private. I'm like, "Can you change it?" And they're like, "I thought I did." I'm like, "No, let me show you," because it's not the best UI. I wish I could see this in real time. That would be very helpful. But for some reason, it doesn't want to. Maybe if I just do it up to here. Come on, load. Maybe if I remove the drawings? Oh, that did it. Cool. That's all I needed to do. That's cool. Nope. Still doesn't work. Oh my god. Just let me play this video. Okay, I think I get the vibe. I just won't have the timing for how it should be. I think overall it's there in terms of the idea. So let me just I don't want to edit your camera. Whoops. Um oh. Oh, this is when they actually dance it? What's the name of the dance? I'm intrigued. No, I won't be able to see it in real time because the video is too big, so it doesn't want to load correctly. It's okay. It like I can work with this. So I think let me just I think overall it's pretty good in terms of the poses that you have. I think there are some um, holds that we can do a little bit more or push the poses a little bit, but let me play blast again. I should not have play blasted with my curves. And okay, play blast. If you want to, can you send me this video that you uploaded here on Discord? Because maybe that's going to help a little bit. Why is this not working? That might be easier for me to actually get the timing and everything right. Let's just go with AVI, even though I don't like it. Um, I don't think I can because you can do it because it's yours, but I'm not the owner of this, so I can't. There's no button for me to download. Like when I have my own videos, then there's like a button around here somewhere where I can download, but I can't do that with yours. Unless if you know a way, let me know. If not, if you can just send me the video on Discord, that'd be great. Or like send me the video that you use for your reference. Like, did you put your reference in Maya and then you follow that? Or did you just have your reference on the side and then you animate it? I want to know because then there might be a bigger reason for me to get the video. Cool, thank you. Yeah, it would be super cool if I could just download things from SyncSketch, but I think it's good that we can't because if not, it would be a very big breach of privacy and everything. So I'm like, okay, fair. It's like, I wish I could, but I understand why we don't have that option. Okay, so you put your reference on the side as in outside of Maya, not inside of Maya, not on your scene. I think there's a delay in the chat, but if you don't put it in Maya, then I'm gonna show you. Okay. Um. Oh, let me send you the link. So I'm gonna send me the video, and I'm gonna show you a way that will get you like a better understanding of body mechanics, and it's going to let. But like the thing is that there are a few things that I think you can benefit from putting your reference in Maya. I understand what you're saying that you don't like it. I do believe there's a benefit to it when you're studying. After that, once you're like super comfortable with everything, you can do whatever. But there are things that you can see sometimes on your reference that are way, way, way easier. But in the meantime, where's my Maya? So I always like to start with the hips just because it's like the thing that usually drives the motion. Not all the time, but most times when it's a body mechanics shot, it tends to drive the motion. So where is my Animbot? I like using Animbot for a lot of things, especially arc tracking. You guys don't have to use it. I personally prefer it because it makes my life way easier. But you can use, no thank you. You can use Mayas, you can draw on the screen, you can do whatever you want. So right now when I see this, I think it's pretty much there in terms of the bounciness, but we can push it a little bit more and we can also push the poses also a bit more. So what I'm saying about pushing the poses is that if I look at this, and this is again why having your reference on Maya will help you a lot seeing things how they are and where we can push them. Uh, let me double check. It could be that I forgot to copy it over. It could be that I forgot to copy it over. Copy it over. Oh my god, I don't want to hear my voice. No, no, no. Mute this. Videos. Yeah, it could be that. Like I can talk over that about that again in a better like do an actual proper stream and get actually good people to talk about it and then it will be much better. So for example, here, yes, the leg is straight, but there's like the weight is a little bit more over that side, especially on him. Like you can see the leg is a little bit tilted, not tilted, but like here, if I draw a line from your foot all the way up. Let's pretend that that's a straight line. Well, that was not too bad. It feels like a lot of the weight is on this side of the line. Thank you. Yeah, don't worry. I'll do a better one at one point. And here there is this, but let's look at this guy because we can see his foot, which is a little bit. See how it's of more of his hips are on that side? We can push that a little bit more so that there is more on this side. It doesn't have to be a lot, but enough so that his weight is more on his side. If you can, just crop the part that you used. Don't send me the whole video, just send me the little part that you used. So I'm gonna guess use this, and we're gonna. So usually for stuff like this, like again, this is another reason why reference is good, because at like what I do usually, my first pass, I copy the timing of the reference. I push it a little bit, but I copy it, and then I just move things around however I want it. The reason for this is that now, like if I copy it, then I can see what the spacing is. So here, if I go, oops, let's mute this and mute here. So if I go here, what's the spacing like once he gets onto one side and the other? It feels like by the time he like contacts, he's already pretty much all the way there. And here, where are you contacting? Here is where you're contacting. So already here, I feel like we could just have a more of an ease, and we can push this a little bit more. Could probably push this also here. Hang on, let me turn on the buffer curves just so that you can see the change. And hang on, that's it. And show buffer curves. Where is it? Okay, there it is. So I'm going to ease that a little bit more and push it. Maybe push this here. Okay, he jumps twice. But when he jumps, if we go back to this, like this is the first time. Okay, whenever he jumps, he touches again the floor, but his weight is still on the other side. So here, every time that you go up and down, see how here you come down, but his weight is now in the middle. Whereas if we see the reference, his weight is actually here. It's still on that leg. See how, woo, that's not a straight line. Let's pretend, let's just look at it from this one. His weight is on this leg. It's not in the middle. So that's also something that we want to keep. And again, I'm going back and forth because I don't know this dance. I'm also not a professional dancer. So I need to analyze these to a very good detail to make sure that it works how it should. Because if not, we're making a completely different dance. So all of this, you can scale it. You can use push-pull, which is basically oh my god, my license is valid. Stop doing that. At the most, he's going to very, very slightly move. Like, what I see that's happening is his weight is coming this way. And then it's kind of doing like a very tiny bounce here. So it's gonna be like a very, very tiny bounce. Kind of like that, but even a little bit smaller. And then when he jumps again, where were we? So literally what I did, like you can just grab your keys and just scale them up and down. That's all you can. Like Animbot, what it just did is just I could use a slider, but you can scale it. It's literally the same thing. It's not that you can't do it. And also, whenever I use something like Animbot, I'm not relying completely on it. See how I'm still moving the keys around, I'm just adapting it to what I want. So don't worry if you don't have it. I'm gonna clean this up. Okay, and then what did he do after? Like again, I understand some people don't like having the reference there, but when you're learning, I find it's key to getting really good body mechanics and even acting because you can see the subtleties. Because the moment I switch from one software to the other, I've lost things. Like my brain has to switch from one thing to the other, and I lose track of what I was doing. Okay, and then he bounces this way, and then he kind of bounces just up and down. I mean, he bounces kind of backwards. I'm following the front guy because it's just easier. It seems like he's going backwards. And then even here, he's still very much to the side. So here, he's going to kind of jump up and down again. And I'm only looking at the hips. I'm not really following, like I need to change the feet. But I'm gonna just focus on the hips for now. Oh, you only did 2 jumps. That's okay. But even on this one, see how you're very much in the middle? Yes, because the thing with references, if I have my reference there, I scrub through and the reference scrubs through at the same time that my animation, so I can compare in real time. Here, if I'm scrubbing through here, this reference doesn't move. No, it doesn't matter if it's on SyncSketch or another thing or whatever. Unless you have it connected to keyframe, which is possible. If you have it connected, that's okay. The important thing is that when you scrub through, your reference scrubs through at the same time. That's the thing you need to see. Doesn't matter if you have it here or you have it in another monitor. That doesn't matter to me. Do put it wherever you need it. But it has to be somewhere in a way that you can move both things at the same time, because then it will be way easier for you to compare. Where you have it, I don't care, put it on another monitor, put it whatever. So here, as I was saying, if you see how this is kind of like, oh, I want to do a straight line, the middle point, and he's exactly in the middle. Whereas if we go back, when he switches, for example, from this to this, see how the last jump, he's not in the middle. Like this is the middle, and he's kind of on this side of the screen. So for this, we're going to need him to stay on that TX. And again, I just can just scale things down and just do a nice simple ease into that. And just so that this makes a little bit more sense, we're gonna adjust the foot already. Also, this first pose, which is this one, we're also gonna have to change it. If it comes from here, he's going to be already more on the other side because we're following the same idea as before. So he's going to be probably around there. And maybe this one might be a little bit there. So let's adjust the foot. So something that's happening here, if I look at the only reason why I'm not looking at the hips and I'm looking at the foot right now is just because it will help to see the poses and the balance. But basically something that's happening here that it's a little bit more creates a complexity that we don't need is that his foot moves to screen left and then back. And usually for jumps like this, we just want to do as if it were a simple bouncing ball. And when a bouncing ball is in the air, it can't change trajectory mid-air. So it can change the um, where it's going to when it bounces, but once it's in the air, it's going to continue in going to towards the same side that it was going to. Like even you can see it on their feet, like whenever they are on the floor. See how the bounces, like he just did like a bounce like this, and then here it was a bounce like this, and then here a bounce like this. It never went and came back because for that to happen, they would have to do a different type of movement and it would have to be very, very quick. So we're going to treat everything as a bouncing ball. So here, this one is okay. I personally try to avoid the feet pointing towards camera because it's not as appealing. So I would personally just keep this with a little bit of, um, what's it called? Rotation. And also, if we think about the bouncing ball, either he's already, again, why we need your reference, because then we can tell, is he supposed to be contacting the ground on this frame or on this frame? So I'm going to assume that it's on this frame, and if it's on that frame, what's happening? Okay, there we go. I was like, there's a key missing. This one might need to be higher, again, because we're thinking about a bouncing ball. Let me see. Yeah, just might keep this a little bit higher. This one might be slightly too high. Because basically what I want to create is the feeling of not being able to draw. Why is it not drawing? Why is it not drawing? Layers. Okay, there we go. This, oh, I know why it's not drawing, because this is not where the camera is. This type of feeling, and right now what we're having is this type of feeling where this keyframe is here and this one is here. Like, so we need the first keyframe to be around here and the second one around there. I hope that made sense. What's happening today? Oh my god. So I'm gonna guess maybe we can just, maybe, you know what? Maybe on this frame actually, we just have the T. Okay, so this is going to make your life way harder. So you can do what you're doing here, which is whenever the foot is contacting the ground, you just use a rotation X. But the problem that that's going to happen is that you're going to have to basically eyeball all the time when you move into spline that rotation and making sure that the foot doesn't move. So instead of doing that, which is like way harder, we can use an attribute that I don't know if you know about that is called foot roll. That's going to basically allow you to keep the foot in place, and you can add like a little bend in the ankle. So here, I whenever I do contacts, I just zero out the rotation X and rotation Z. Make sure my foot is on the ground. And I think you have foot roll, don't you? Yeah, there is a roll. But there's also, and also was going to let you, if I put this in 0, is this where the ground is supposed to be? I'm just, to make my life easier, I'm just going to assume that the ground is 0, and I'm just going to move him so that 0 is the ground. Because we don't need to do math today. So I see that you have roll in there. So that's all that you're gonna need. And what's happening here, like if I put the roll in 0, but there's still some rotation in there, is because the foot is not set to, the leg is not set to be stretchy. So if I set this to stretch, now it will work. Whether you use stretch or not, that's really up to you. There's no wrong or right in this. The only thing is that not using stretch, you're gonna have to force yourself to make sure that the height of the hips matches what it needs to be, so the foot isn't suddenly in the air. But I personally I don't care. So here we are going to assume that his foot is supposed to be on the ground. There we go. And because of how it is, we need more roll. Like if the stretch wasn't turned on, I wouldn't realize that I needed more roll. Like sorry, if it were turned on. So that's why I usually like to keep my stretch off until the last minute, or I keep it off. Sorry, I like to keep it off, or I only turn it on if like I'm using a walk cycle that somebody else did or a run cycle, and I don't know what they use, so I'm like, I'll just use stretch, and then I don't care. Because sometimes people use stretch in their cycles, and if you don't have it, then there's a lot of knee pops. Oops. Okay, and I'm usually the kind of person who doesn't like to use roll when it's in the air. It's up to you, whatever you want. See how here it feels like he's touching the ground, but there's actually movement? That's because you have the rotations. See, you don't need the rotations. Hello, how's it going? Am I in? Yep. I hope what I'm saying is making some kind of sense. So the roll thing, if you have it in the air, what happens is basically you get this bend here that then you have to counter animate. So usually when it's in the air, I just like to zero it out and just keep the leg like this, the foot like this. And if I need it, then I can use the, where is it? This control if I really need it. But that's kind of like the last thing in my mind. And then here, if I'm thinking about the bouncing ball, see how the heel comes up and then it moves quite a bit to the side? I should not have changed your camera. Let me change to perspective. So if we look at it from here, the heel comes up and then it moves to the side. So I think we can already just move it a little bit here. So if I look at it from your shot cam, where is it here? Okay, so we have to decide where we want the heel to actually land, like the foot. Do we want it on this pose or on this pose? This one, everything is zeroed out. I'm just gonna go for this one. And I'm just gonna add the foot roll here. Because again, instead of using rotation, this is gonna make your life way easier when you move into spline. And I'm looking here. I think we can stretch that leg a lot more. Can we though? I don't know. I don't know this dance, so I'm gonna go back and check. So it looks like their legs are kind of always bent. And then they bend a lot when they're about to change direction. So all of this should be way more bent. But again, depends how close to reality you want to be. I'm not from India. You are, so you know better. Yes, you should. There are times when if the foot is in the air, like sometimes I'm doing walk cycles and I'm too lazy and I'm like, I'll just keep the roll. But I have it to a point where instead of breaking at the toes, I change the value so that it doesn't break and it just keeps being a little flat. But that's for very specific cycles or animations, or like when you're not going to see the feet, but here you're going to see the feet. So, yep. So this is when he's about to change directions. Oh, hang on. I'm lost. Oh, here is when he changes direction. So that one is the biggest one. So because this one is the biggest one, we already know that he's going to change directions and it's going to go way lower. And why am I lowering this? Because if we look at your reference, see how if you look at the legs, they're pretty kind of straight. They're not super bent. But then, well, that one bent a lot. So we could even bend it even more. But when they're about to change direction, they really go down. That's okay. I mean, uh, Maya is super hard. Animation is super hard. The more you animate and the more you see other people animate or you ask questions or you see demos, then you're going to be like, oh, that's how it works. So don't worry. Like, not everyone is super technical. Like, Daniel is incredibly technical. I'm kind of a medium. Like, I can do things, but I'm not like super technical. But I've learned a lot from how other people animate and how other people uh, taught me how to do things, and it made sense and it made my life easier. So hopefully this thing that I'm doing is going to help you see another way to animate. But basically every time that you have the foot on the ground, no, don't have any rotation X or rotation Z. Basically, those, like when you have a rotation X, it means you can do a foot roll. If you have a rotation Z or Z, however you say it, you can use bank, and bank will do this. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's very technical. I'm very impressed. I wish I were like that, but I'm not. I wish I were. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I should know how to do this, and then I don't know, and I'm like, no. Okay, where were we? We were here. Wait, you do have three. I'm so confused. One, two, three. Yes, you do. Why? You know what's happening? I know what's happening. So another thing that is very good to do when you're animating, and again, this changes a lot depending on the person's workflow. However, if you're starting out, it is good practice first to have the body not selectable because it's really, really annoying me. Oh, that's much better. Um, it is good practice to key all the controls on each keyframe that you would do. So I feel like you have some controls that are keyed in some, for example, this one, there's no keyframe on frame 8. But if I go to this one, no, this one doesn't have it. There was one that had it. There's some things that are missing. Like I can see it on the timeline, but I can't pinpoint exactly where they are. So I would say just key everything. Can I just do this? Just to make sure. So the body not selectable, I just go to this controller here, not the big one, but this one, smaller one, and I just go to geotype and I change it to ref. That will make it not selectable. Another way to make it non-selectable is to unselect this. This basically allows you to select geometry. So whenever I'm working on Maya, I usually unselect this regardless because sometimes I don't know, maybe there's a prop and I don't want to use it or a set that I don't want to click and maybe it's selectable for some reason. So just to be safe, I always turn this off. Here it wasn't turned off because I haven't used Maya in a while. So yeah, but the other way is just go here, geotype, ref. Hello, how's it going? So oh, another thing, if you're gonna do what I've just done, which is select everything, just make sure nothing is showing except for polygons and NURBS curves. The reason for this is that let's say you have everything showing, you might accidentally select joints, you might accidentally select locators or whatever, handles, other things that are part of the rigs, like not locators, but like joints and maybe some of this. And if I select everything and I select joints and I move them, you're messing with the rig's skeleton. It won't happen probably on this rig because I don't think you can select them as just as easy. I think you need to edit something, like select change the type. But some rigs it does happen that the skeleton is visible, so it's just easier just to be safe, just have NURBS curves and polygons. Just make your life easier. And I'm just gonna set keys. See, there are keys missing. I can see them. I can see your keys appearing. Let's just delete this. And what I've just done now, if in case you were wondering, I just went frame by keyframe, and I hit S on every single one to make sure that everything has a key. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Stuart rig, I remember it happened to me too. Like I'm speaking from experience. Like it has happened to me. So yeah, definitely. So I always just to be safe, polygons and NURBS curves. And other rigs might not use NURBS curves just or polygons. Just make sure you have just whatever you use for controllers and whatever shows the rig. Nothing else. The rest you don't need it. Let's go back to the camera. I feel like I've changed your camera. Did I? If I did, I'm sorry. Let's pretend that this was your camera. I should have locked it. I thought I did. Okay, so So here we have the same issue where we need this to be moving a little bit faster. No, but now I feel like I moved it too much. Ever so slightly. Like, just look at this. No, it's not moving. Why does it feel like it's moving? Is it maybe just the rotation that is tricking my eyes? I do feel like there's like a slight motion though. Okay, so now we have the same thing. So we're just gonna grab this. This is your last, this is your kind of contact. I'm just gonna zero at the rotation X. Translation is in Y is at 0. That's perfect. Do I need to add more foot roll? Maybe a little bit so that it's not super straight. And then here I'm just going to copy. And if you don't have Tween Machine, like there are free Tween Machines out there, scripts that you can use if you don't have Animbot. Tween Machine, I would say, is fair game. I would say if you have a script, use it because it will make your life so much easier. It's just so much faster, and every studio has their own version of Tween Machine if you don't have access to Animbot. Although a lot of studios now give you an Animbot license. Basically, what Tween Machine does is it lets me basically this would be like the post to the left, this would be the post to the right, and I can tween from one to the other. And what I like about Animbots that some of the other scripts do is that I can just select, say, the translations and just copy that from one frame to the other. If you don't have Animbot, literally all you can do is just come to this frame, middle mouse, click and drag, drop, and hit S. The problem with this is that sometimes it doesn't work. In this case, it did, but sometimes I don't know why it doesn't work for me. Like sometimes I'm dragging and dropping a million times until it works. Why is the foot moving, you ask? Oops. Because we need to add some roll. What is happening? Am I selecting? There we go. Yeah. We need to add roll to the other. And we need to remove the roll from here. That might be why the foot was doing weird things. Maybe. What do you mean after he lands, after the jump, it will land a little bit different? What are you talking about specifically? Cool. I haven't used Blender, so I'm gonna trust um, your recommendation. So here, since I see this is here, I'm gonna adjust the hips a little bit to the side because again, the weight should be a little bit more on the other foot. So on this one, and then this one as well. Yeah, but I'm not understanding the question. Like, what do you mean when he lands after the jump will land slightly different? Like, you mean each jump lands differently? Yes? Or you mean, I'm not sure what you mean. I'm sorry. Also, do you need to fully I'm not looking at this leg. This leg is problem for future me. now I'm looking at the hips, and I want to see this moment here. Let's look at it from here, and no drawings. So they touch a little bit, touch a little bit. Yeah, I wouldn't fully plant the foot. Oh, I love how this foot is peeling off. That's beautiful. Like, look at this foot. Nice. Sorry, analyzing reference is super fun. Yeah, I don't think you need to completely, but let's see this one. Okay. So here, when he lands here, I think we got the same problem as before. So we're going to copy this over, but I kind of like the other positioning. I feel like this one is better. Oops. Let me just add some foot roll. And then let's just copy the next pose to this and remove the foot roll. But let's just double check something. I think they still should have a little bit of foot roll, but it's okay. No, this one is super flat. That's okay. When you get into polish, there's this nice little detail. So for example, here, if you look at this foot, see how it starts with the weight on this side, and as he comes further down, the weight shifts onto this side. But that's like a polish thing that you don't need to add right now. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. Okay, so now we do need to look at the other leg. So let's look at the other leg. Is everything that I'm saying, or like, are things making sense, or is there anything that you want me to go over? I'm still not sure about your question, but in the meantime, let me know about the rest. And let me just go to perspective. So here the foot is a little bit broken. The reason for this is that right now the foot is pointing that way and the knee is pointing that way. So that's a little bit physically impossible. So I mean, I don't know if maybe if you're a contortionist now, but bones. So whenever you have your leg out in the air, just make sure that it matches. I don't know if you've used, no, you've just used this one, I guess. Like you can just make sure that this knee points to where the foot is pointing. And right now it feels a little bit uncomfortable. If I look at them, the reason why this feels a little bit better is because two things are happening. One, this leg and this knee is not like, see how there's like a little bit of a rotation towards camera, very, very slightly. But even if there weren't, okay, that's good. Even if it weren't, the thing that is missing here is a rotation of the hips. So right now your hips are pointing towards camera. They need to be pointing, like basically opening up the hips towards the side that you're opening your legs. Because basically those bones, when you move a leg, they're gonna pull on those hips. So here, that bone should be there. And because we already know that this is going to happen throughout all of this, we're just going to keep those hips open all the way, oops, up to there. And here I could potentially open them more. And then we're gonna just ease them out. We're focusing on the beginning right now. I'm gonna look at the, actually, I'm not gonna do both sides. I'm gonna do just one side, and I want you to extrapolate what I'm saying into the other side. Because if I do both, then you can just come back and see it. But if I do just one, then you have to figure out how to apply the things that I said onto the other legs and everything. There's like the other bounces. And when you're doing that, if you go over the video again after the stream is over, don't try to match my curves to the T. Like, don't go and be like, oh, there is like 10.869. I want to have the same value, because I'm not looking at values. I'm basically just filling it out and trying to find a way to that it looks kind of like what the reference is doing and kind of makes sense in terms of body mechanics. Because I remember doing that. I remember one time somebody helped me with something and it was on video, and then I was like, okay, what's the value there? What's the exact same curve? I need to have it exactly the same. No, you don't. You need to understand what is happening, and then everything will make a little bit more sense. Okay, then now I want to see, because we're at the point of the leg bouncing. So right now what's happening on your anime, and I kind of want to see this side because it's a little bit clearer, is that the leg is coming up and down on kind of the same path. What I mean by the same path is that if I were to draw a line, it feels like it's coming this way, and then see how it's kind of, this foot is kind of coming down the exact same way. So usually it's best not to kind of ping pong in animation, so that instead of doing like this, maybe it's like a little bit higher and a little bit lower, so it's like a slight curve that usually is a little bit more appealing. It doesn't mean you have to go crazy and have a very big curve. No. It just means like adding a little tiny bit of a different path. So I'm also going to check your spacing. So if we draw over where your spacing is, and I actually, for this, I need it to be static. Layer manager. Let me do it on the shotcam. And there we go. Can we see it from here? Yeah, we can. Okay. So if I track, let's say this point. So we're having a few things where it was coming up with a nice curve, a nice arc, and then here, as it's coming down exactly on the same path as before, because this was the original path and it's coming down on that path. But then it changes direction here, and then it comes back here. Like, I feel like if this were where it was going, whoops, it would need to land somewhere else. So the first thing that caught my eye was the spacing. So if I delete this frame and go back here, see how these two feel very even? They feel like they are the exact same spacing. So if we see this, I don't know how visible it will be because real life tends to be a little bit more even, but whenever there's a change in direction, we tend to slow down and then we can speed up. But if you see, for example, this guy, because sometimes also we have to take into account how good the camera was. This one, he just is too even. But it's okay, because it's a good example of what happens if our reference is too even, we push it. This guy does the opposite though. He is going to gain momentum. He's slowing down and then bam, he's going to start moving down, which completely fair. So how can we fix this spacing so that we don't follow reality one to one and make it a little bit more interesting? We're just gonna push it there. So now the spacing gets a little bit tighter on this frame. So now basically what we're doing is we are easing into that apex. Also, if I'm going too fast, let me know. So for this, I personally prefer how they do it in your reference because it's going to allow you to have a little bit more bounce. So I'm just going to add a little bit of foot roll to this. And because of how this foot was coming down, if I do that, it's going to come like back and forth. And if we see your reference, see how whenever the foot comes down, if we track the heel, like let's say I track this guy's, it just does this. Like it does kind of like this type of arc, but it doesn't do this, which is what's happening now. Because again, kind of like a bouncing ball. So what we can do is maybe just bring this one in so that it doesn't feel like it's on the same path as it was before. And if you're unsure, you can always just motion trail this. You can use Maya motion trails. I refuse. So I'm just gonna use Animbots. Motion trails. There we go. If you want to like just make sure where your spacing is and your path and everything so that it's not exactly the same. And then this one, you don't have foot roll right now. Okay. And I'm going to explain something about that spacing. Is he coming? He's coming really far out. So something that I think also we can change in your animation a little bit. Again, I don't know who you follow, but basically you're kind of doing the opposite with the leg as what is happening in your anim. So what's happening in your animation, again, I'm just following that part. If you were following a different part, let me know. But basically, you're doing this, whereas in your anim, now that I'm looking at it, they're doing this. So that's like a big difference. So I was like, why are the arcs different? Again, it took me some time because I'm not like this is the first time I've ever seen this dance, and I wasn't really paying attention to how it was looking. Wrong on my part. So let's just edit that. So this should actually come way further out. And I'm going to fix this as well because it's driving me crazy. Oops. I'm just basically selecting, just moving the knee pivot far away and just putting it in all the frames because it was annoying me. What do the legs do? What do the feet do? Because I don't know. The feet seem to be pretty static throughout this whole motion. There's not that much overlap going on. Like you can have overlap here, but once they get in the air, they seem to be pretty much like this. Okay, 280. Yeah, they're still doing the same motion. It's still coming outwards. So that's why it feels a little bit off. And I haven't talked about timing yet. I'm just trying to get the core poses and everything to work. Because even here, they are still coming out. Like this one is not doing much, but if you see the other ones, this one, like for example, he's coming way further out. That makes way more sense. Now I'm way happier. Okay, turn this off. It's annoying me. Now I'm just kind of having fun animating your shot, by the way. Because it's a fun dance. I'm sorry. Just kind of trying to get the idea of it. And then just make sure that it's like a bouncing ball effect. Cool. And this can probably go a little bit there. Okay, so now if we do this, see how now it feels like it's doing this, whereas before you were doing this. So that's also why maybe it felt a little bit off before. Yeah. So again, I'm not going to do the other side because I want you to tackle that and try that in. I'm not going to send you this file. I want you to try it by yourself. You can follow the video and um, figure that out. I think if you have any other questions, like always let me know. And now maybe this could also rotate a little bit already. Still not happy with that one. There we go. But the main thing is, well, the positioning of the feet, just making sure that, again, if I draw over this, no, do it the other way. Layer, delete. Okay. Yeah, for sure. But don't copy it one to one. So basically, this is kind of like, see, this is even, we could move this a little bit more because I basically can enhance this. So this, I can make the arc a little bit better. And then I can come, like, I'm just choosing to go higher. You can go lower. It's the same. But this, I don't want it to be in the exact same dot and the exact same spot. So because it's coming higher, maybe I can just put it there so that it's not the same. Basically, what I'm trying to achieve is that as it's coming up, the spacing gradually gets smaller, and as it's coming down, the spacing gradually gets bigger. And the same thing as it's coming down. Okay, now we're gonna play with this and see where we're at. Also, let me just double check the hips again. We have the rotations. Yep. Okay, and then the rotation in C. That's okay. I don't know if I would rotate this so far down. No, because it doesn't need to be zeroed out. And also here, the translation, it's moving way too much. The Like in this frame, it should still be favoring the other leg quite a bit more because we haven't really done the transfer of the weight. And this one feels like it's not at zero. Like I know that it's not, but I can still kind of feel it. Maybe it's just where I place that foot. Maybe if I just okay, now it feels a little bit better. Okay, so I also wanted to check something here that was kind of this. I was like, why is it so? Let me just zero this out. Okay, so basically, the reason why I was drawn to this is because if I just hide this, when I was playblessing, I saw that you were getting kind of this weird rotation in the body where there's like two rotations in the hips. How you animate it doesn't matter as long as it looks okay. So personally, I don't use this controller, unless I absolutely need it for some specific dances. For a dance like the one that you have, I don't think it's necessary because the hips are not moving independent, like kind of like belly dancing. They are not moving independent from the rest of the body. They're kind of moving like a unit in terms of the whole body is jumping up and down and sideways, but it's not that the hips are moving independently. So, in order to remove that and also to make your life a little bit easier, because I always say try to create a pose with the least amount of controls possible. Because the more that you add in, the more complexity and the more you have to counter animate. So, I'm just gonna zero everything. Just gonna come here and zero everything. And now you're like, but the hips are not as they should be. So we can just make this bigger. Just make them bigger. And now you can be like, but now the chest, well, we can just fix the chest. Like, we can just grab the FK or IK if you want. I personally don't like um, IK, so I would like to use FK. And we can just literally just copy the rotation. I'm too lazy to do it myself. Just gonna copy this, see if it works. Sometimes it doesn't, but pretty sure I'm gonna have to scale it the other way. Oh, I just copied it into one. Let me just copy it into the lower one. It's the most important one. And come to this one where it's like the apex. Paste. And the reason I'm scaling it to the other side is just because of contrapposto. So basically, if you have a person and the hips go like this, the chest tends to go like this. And we might have overdone the hips a little bit too much. Okay. So I'm going to clean this up and now let's look at it. Shotgun, yes. Let me play Blast and see where we're at. Yeah, I will let you know now. So the rotations that I deleted were, so if I go here, so I went to this controller here, the yellow one, and you had the rotations in Z or Z, however you want to say it, and so I just zeroed them out. You can see here where your rotations used to be. Like if I switch here, those were your rotations. That's the only one that I changed in terms of deleting. So now the only thing left to do is play with the timing. I think we can, I personally would push the TX a little bit more. I feel like we can push it a lot more. Like I kind of, I'm tempted just to try and see how that looks. No, that's way too much. Like maybe there. Let's just try that one. And I'm always like, I like to push things and see where it starts to look weird and then go from there. Because if not, you can run into the issue of being too subtle with your animation unless you're doing a very subtle motion. I like to try and push it and see where it feels right and where it doesn't. Like that feels better. We could even push it a little bit more, but I think we're okay. And then another thing that we should do is if I go here, so basically we went up to, let's say, here with your foot. Not here, up to there. And then with the other one, did we go? Oh, we went lower, so it's okay. So basically, I just wanted to make sure we weren't hitting the exact same apex. So we're okay with that. Maybe what we could do, just so that it's a little bit more different, is one of them opening it up a little bit more. So this one goes up to here. And the other one, see, that's what felt, that was like, something feels off. This one almost hits the exact same TX, so to speak. So what we can do is just push this. And I'm just going to like push it a little bit more. Maybe the other one, because I feel like the other one was a little bit higher, so that's going to work a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, that already feels better. At least to me. Um, and then I wanted to check the timing. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this. I'm going to save because I haven't saved since we started, and we know what happens when we don't save. We cry. Like today at work when my autosave stopped working and Maya crashed, and suddenly I'm like, what? I'm polishing. Don't do this to me. I didn't lose so much, but I lost enough to be like, because you know when you're in polishing and you're going over the like tiny details and like pixel perfecting everything, and suddenly it crashes and you're like, the last save was from an hour ago. What? It's okay. So now we've saved. So let's just play with us one more time. I want to see the timing and then see where we can play with it. Let me know if you have any questions. Also, this was fun. I like playing with other people's animations. It's really cool. Okay, now let's, I can see it in real time. So maybe, let me just see if, so what's the name of this? Do we have the name of this video? Maybe if I, no. Do you remember the name of the video? Oh, maybe it's here. Haha. Maybe I can just find it on YouTube. Yeah. Oh no, or this is something else. No, this is. Wait. Maybe if I find that person? Okay. Maybe I find the same video. No, but maybe if I grab some of Alanis. No, it's okay. I'll just grab one of them just to feel the. Okay. Yeah, if you can, that'd be great. My God, the strength those legs must have. I feel like I would die. No, not doing the same one. Oh wait, they were. Okay. Okay. How does this feel? I feel like maybe we can just do it a little bit faster. Potentially. And I'm just going to delete the other step just so that I have it easier. And now I'm going to save these nerves. So there's different ways of retiming a shot. I don't do this when I'm in blocking just because it can create issues, but there is like this that you can just like move around. But the problem with that is that it might create some weird things. Oh, cool. Thank you. Okay. Let me see when they were dancing, which was around there, I think. No, that's another. Okay. I think we can just like slightly make it faster. And I think maybe it's just. Where do we need it? Nah, I'm kind of okay with the timing. I feel like when you spline it, it's going to feel slow though. So do it when you're splining. Like, don't worry about it now. Just want to see this. Like, if I do this. Nice. Oops, no, that was not what I wanted to play last. Yeah, for sure. Ask away. Oh, I forgot to retime the top. Going to, how do I, there we go. No, I think the timing that you had is going to work for now. When you move into spline, then it's different, but I think for now it works. Yeah. What was your question about the leg? Let me play blast. And while you're writing it, I need to send a message. Okay. Is his leg in place? What do you mean? Like his left leg? You mean his actual left? Oh, or if it's moving back and forth. You mean the one that is touching the ground? The screen left one? Or the one in the air? His actual left leg. Do I still have that? I'm gonna close this. We don't need this. Yep, to yep, to which one? The one in the air or the one on the ground? Because there's a little bit of delay with the chat, so that's why I'm asking. Okay. Yeah, actually, we can do that. I wasn't really paying attention to the back and forth because sometimes when I animate to camera, I'm like, whatever. But we should be checking that out as well. So we can, this is kind of you choose where to put it. This one seems like this leg is coming forward a little bit. Doesn't look like it a lot, but there it's moving forward. Why is this not? What's the attribute? Super confused. But yeah, we can push this even more forward. So like let's say here, and then as it's coming here, it can come back a little bit just to move in space, but it doesn't have to be a lot. And as you do that, he would also have to come back and forth with his body. So the leg is coming forward, he's going to start coming forward as well. Basically, the leg is going to want and catch him as he's coming forward. And we're gonna fix the other leg as well. And then he's going to want to come back there. And even here, if the leg is coming further back, it's because it's trying to catch the hips from going backwards so much. I hope that's making sense. And also, personally, this is again a like super thing of what's the name of it? Preference. I like to switch to FK when my leg is in the air. You don't have to. I'm not gonna do it for this because it's going to take time for no reason. But I don't use IK when the foot is in the air. For the obvious reason that, for example, right now I move the hips and now I have to adjust the foot, and it's like that would have saved me a little bit of time. And also because of arcs, it's just much easier to track and do arcs with FK when it's in the air. Let's see how that looks. Did that answer your question, by the way? Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Cool. I think that's kind of all I have for you now. Oh, I forgot to. I'm gonna save the playblast. Unless you have any other questions, but hopefully that made sense in terms of what to do with at least this side, and then putting it to the rest. Cool. Let me save this. Um, Demo? That's an okay name. Let's hope this exports well. Okay, so I think unless anyone has any other questions, I'm going to stop for today just because I have other things to do. So this was fun. If anyone wants to send me more things next time on an actual Maya file, love. This is super fun. And I feel like Daniel said it to me once. It's like you can explain a lot of things much better. Yeah, no problem. My pleasure. Because it's like much easier to be like, hey, see, this is where you do it and how you do it. Well, at least how I would do it. So, yep. I hope you guys had fun and learned something new. And if you didn't, well, at least you lost almost 2 hours of your life. Sure, no problem. I'm going to try and not forget to save this one. I honestly forgot about saving all the videos after a while. I was like, did I used to do that? And now yeah, so now I will. But thank you all for coming. Next time, I think it should be around the same time. I'm considering pushing them 1 hour later. Let me know if that would work for you or if you think it's too late or too early. Just because of the time change, I think it might be better. Uh, Tell me that on Discord because I'm going to be out. There is no schedule right now because Daniel was on a trip, so I think he kind of changes his streams depending on the week. I usually do it on Thursdays around what is like 7 p.m. of Sydney, which is now midnight PST, but I might switch it to like an hour later just because the days are so nice that I want to enjoy the sunlight a little bit more rather than having to run from work all the way here. I like to see the outside a little bit more after work. So yeah, I'll let you know next week what the official new time will be, at least for like our summer, your well, the winter on the northern hemisphere. So cool. See you all next time, and thank you for coming. Bye.